Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the OB46 Paladins Game Patch Notes Show. My name is Rainday, and I'm joined by none other than high-res pretty hair. Give it up for Nick. There we go. Imaginary applause happening. We got high-res dry bear, Rory Newbrow, the lead designer of Paladins. Give it up for Rory. Yay. Imaginary applause. And then we got, of course, high-res Holt, who you were missing, man.
I was.
You've been going to way too many things.
No,
every
not
meetup
enough,
there
not
is.
enough.
It's like
not enough things.
Meet up at barbecue, Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah.
Thomas is there with
it was great. I got to meet
Paladins
some
codes to
great
give away.
players, both at PAX South and then PAX East and
Nice.
GDC as well. So it's been great. It's been great seeing the players around the area, some of the pro players, a lot of our streamers. It's been a lot of fun.
You can see all the cosplay that was coming out too, right?
Oh, yeah.
You had a couple
Oh, yeah.
pics on Twitter I saw.
Very nice.
Are you cosplaying Drybear someone who's not knowing that it's St. Patrick's Day? Because you're not wearing green.
Is that what it is?
Is that what you're doing?
Is that what
Because
it
it's
is?
working. Yeah.
You know,
It seems like it's a
it's
statement.
like a nice contrast.
Okay.
Right? It's like I'm knowingly aware of it and not doing it.
Okay. All right.
right.
Yeah.
Edgy.
We'll pretend to buy that one here. It's a very.
Says the guy's not showing any green. That doesn't count. He
Hey.
grabbed this in the back. He grabbed it in the back.
That's right. And
Hey.
guess what? This is green. You can't see it. It's muted, but it's actually green. So don't.
I wish you were
think
muted.
it's-
I'd say that's more like a sea foam, bro.
Seafoam. I think it's a cerulean. I don't know. We'll
It's a
see.
blue.
It's not. Anyways, guys, you want to talk about stuff that matters. That's all the good stuff we've got coming up in OB46. Before we get into the hype stuff, though, and luckily before this, I've taken care of everything. I think I'm good. We do need to go into the new things you'll be able to grab that'll be available for you, the new kind of upcoming chests and special things that we're adding in OB46. And in fact, the chest that's on everyone's mind, the Helios Force chest.
You did it.
Yes.
Good job.
For Fernando. It's going to
right,
be pretty
yes.
exciting. Talk to us about what's in this chest.
This
Thomas.
chest is amazing. Both the concept, the modeling, both for the character and the weapon. These guys worked really close, hand in hand, to make sure that the theme was respected all the way through, and the execution is amazing. So this actually is probably one of my favorite skins that we've done to
Mine too,
date.
yeah.
And so, and especially with Fernando, I'm still waiting to hear kind of what happens with balance at the end of the show. I hope he's as powerful as he appears here. But
Want to
yeah,
ask
no,
which pretty
it's-
hair gets involved with that. Inner pretty hair.
Yeah, but but it's a lot of fun. This went all the way through. We got sounds, we got VFX.
In fact, we might be able to see some of that in game, I
And
believe.
voice
should
pack
take a look.
too.
Yeah, some voice pack for this. And look at that baby. Paladins
Yeah.
epic music here.
Beast mode. And this one is obviously epic, so it comes with a full suite of VFX changes. Obviously, we couldn't just let him be the red flame, right? You had to kind of mix that up. So actually, the art team did a really fantastic. Again, I agree with Thomas. It's one of my favorite skins we've done. And the voice back on top of it too. So we actually did some cool things where, normally Thomas, his visor comes up and you can see his face, but obviously, since he is a pilot,
Yep.
he's all business.
All business.
Never see
all
the
business.
face, and you actually, when he does the voice back, you'll hear that he's kind of radioing in his experience from inside the giant mech that he's driving.
Well, let's take a listen to it. Here's the voice pack here for FN01. Something, Fernando.
Defend! Retreat! I'll defend the objective! Radio silence. Flank left! Just following orders. Ultimate is ready! Be careful, right flank!
Oh, that's beautiful, man. That is too good. Just following orders.
That right flank, gotta watch out.
If only we could play the flavor lines, right?
No, right? Unfortunate we don't have this in game.
Reminds me of the Super Chrono 64 from Smite.
Yeah.
That's that voice pack.
Yeah.
And it's very nostalgic. It feels very video gamey, yet it also feels
Do a
otherworldly.
barrel roll.
Yeah.
And really exciting. So that is going to be in a new chest that comes out. But also in that chest, there's going to be a few other things you can grab. I believe there's Triggerman Buck.
Yep.
There's Starslayer Ruckus. Nightbane Cassie.
Correct.
And so if you don't have any of those, and those are epics, right?
They're
If you
all-
don't have any of those.
There's 3 sets of epics and then a set of legendary.
Okay,
And
the
the big
Ruckus.
thing about these are skins that exist already. So obviously, if you have these skins or you've been following the Colossal chest, when the Helios Force chest comes out, all that's left is Fernando. You kind of get that direct. So it's kind of a new way to kind of package that up. So obviously the theming for the Fernando and the chest is kind of tied together. And then we have extra content in there, which if you already own, you're good to go.
Yeah. And if not, it's a great chance to have, again, this is a set number of items and get through. So if you've been trying to get it, trying to roll it, if you missed out on it, it's a good way to get that
right.
content.
I think, is Triggerman Buck in the Colossal chest as well? I don't know. So I feel like if you're just hitting these chests, you're just getting every
That's a good
patch. It's
chest,
just
though, right?
better.
It always just bounces
better
back,
and
man.
better.
The more you own, the more you get.
It all comes back to the colossal chest.
That's right.
man.
It does. That's why it's so big.
It's right, huge. It's colossal.
Yeah.
We should make it bigger.
We should.
I think we
Ooh.
should.
We should make it bigger.
Yeah, maybe next patch.
I'll have to
That's
make
right.
that note.
Let's talk about that.
Scale it
So there's obviously that new chest coming in, and that's a very important thing. People are excited about that. Always fun for the new skins coming in. For Nando players as well, hopefully you get some extra cool action in there. We'll see if any inner pretty hair comes out and helps you out or hurts you.
Please no.
But I think there's an important thing. Did you all take care of your parking tickets today? You all cool?
I don't have any.
You don't have any?
I don't have any. No.
Because I made sure I did. Because at this point,
Yeah.
I think we all have to make sure that we're law-abiding citizens.
Are we?
It's true.
Yeah.
It's extremely important.
That movie didn't end well for the person. Who
It certainly didn't, but it was a decent movie. It was actually a pretty decent movie. Coming out in OB46, guys, you've heard it teased. You've seen several videos from it on multiple different platforms, and you've heard the name, you've heard the category. You know what it's all about. It's about the law. So, without further ado, coming out in OB46, we'd like to introduce you the new champion, Lex.
Hey, I'm not at fault here.
No one escapes the law. You all right? Time to get to work.
Whoa. Was that Pip's hand? Whoa, that's some
What did
secret
Pip ever do
backstory.
to
Yeah,
anybody?
where do Lex and Pip know each other? Ooh, I feel it spicy. The Hand of Justice.
That was sweet.
Lex is out. Thomas, Rory, that was awesome. Talk to us about Lex and what he's going to bring to the realm, how he came about.
So Lex has been great. Like he's one of the champions as we've been looking at where his theme just really kind of hit a note with the dev team, and we were able to carry it really strongly through both his art, through his gameplay kit, animation, just across the board. And the idea is that he does represent the law. He's part of this order, right, that keeps law in kind of the outskirts of the realm, right? And so he's responsible for a district, and he'll travel around. And as such, like, he is the sole representation. His voice is the law. He is the judge, the jury, the executioner. So he has that full authority to be the law and to represent it and carry it out in the realm. And so to that theme, you know, there's confidence. You see it in his personality and kind of his tone, the authority he speaks with, and then also with his kit.
Yeah, I mean, Halsey's got a little bit of a British tang to the accent there.
He does.
Drybear, you kind of took the lead on helping direct the direction of Lex here. So why don't we, since we have him in game, start talking about the kit that he's going to bring into the battle?
So the big thing that we were kind of getting from Thomas and the crew is that it was kind of, he was this really powerful driver of justice, right? And he wasn't, you know, he wasn't vindictive. He wasn't out there for himself. He was almost like the instrument, right? He was the one that was enacting this judgment, and he carried a very special drive force. You see the emotes there. And I actually personally really like what the art team has done with the weapons here. You'll see that they're very heavy, very kind of meteoric, and that's what we were starting for from the gameplay. We wanted to have these high caliber rounds, right? Because we have Androxus in the game, kind of, you know, the medium caliber, and we do have, you know, like Victor and Tyra that have kind of the, you know, the repetitive, but we wanted to have it feel like it was just heavy impacting, penetrating, and slow, right? I wanted to kind of carry that through.
And those dual magnums were really important to his kit, and we carried those over into the aesthetic. And so even in the backstory and what he is they represent who he is. He doesn't walk around with a 10 badge on his shoulder or his chest or anything. Like, these are the pistols. Like, if he goes down in action, his order's coming in to retrieve those pistols,
And they
not
leave 'em
necessarily the body.
They leave the body there behind, right?
So yeah, we wanted that, like, again, that strong, confident feel that backs up the kind of gameplay and that heavy hitting, you know, dual pistol, aesthetic and as far as the actual implementation, and with that Crusader vibe, right?
And this will be a flanker. So adding into the flank class, we've seen supports, we've seen tanks kind of come in, and obviously if you watch our esports, a very kind of tanky meta at the current moment, but adding a new flanker into the realm, that's got to been an exciting, a fun task for you all to see how we can make him fit, make him relevant as we introduce him into the scene.
We took a little bit of a different angle with this one. So he actually has one of the highest base movement speeds in the game, so he just naturally moves very, very quickly. And we can start off from that just to how he fits onto the flank role. So he is the first introduction into Paladins of our version of a combat slide. So he can very easily, unlike a roll, this one will slide along. He can fire while he's doing it. He can look around while he's doing it. So it's meant to be, as the name would suggest, combat slide.
Yes.
So he uses it while he's fighting. He can kind of get a headshot there and kind of go along. This just kind of goes along with those vibe, and it's actually it's one of the shortest cooldowns in the game as well. So you see a 3-second cooldown there.
Yeah.
It'll start immediately, gets it back. So he's very highly mobile. And he's kind of, as you saw from the teaser video, very comfortable in combat with a lot of bullets coming by, a lot of fire coming by, a lot of chicken potions flying by, right? He's very comfortable in that state, and so we wanted to kind of marry that with the movement. But hopping back to the weapons here, you can see that, again, they are akimbo, right? So dual wield here, kind of alternating fire. You'll see actually some cool things coming out, but a lot of punch. So it hits really hard, and they do alternate.
So they're called magnums there. So out of the right and left side. Nick, you've played with this guy a little bit. How does it feel with this weapon fire?
I just noticed you can actually, when you got one bullet left, one of your magnums is actually fully exposed there. The chamber's open, indicating that it's empty. That's really cool.
Yeah, our animation team, our tech art team, the programming team, like the amount of tech that goes into making something feel this good is immense. And they did a great job with it. But yes, the slides go back with every fire. When you run out of ammo on one gun, the slide locks, which is it also happens in 3P. So if you're paying attention, you can kind of you can tell how much ammo he has left.
Yep.
But yeah, it feels really, really good.
Yeah, it does feel good to sneak up on somebody and hit him with. I mean, these things hit like a truck. So you sneak up on somebody and open with a headshot. It's going to be a good time.
Headshot does a pretty big chunk of damage there, but it's kind of alternating. And you see that a little bit slower fire rate than some of our other direct shot hit scan weapons. So you really have to make sure you're landing those. It's a very deliberate pacing too. So when he's shooting, he's kind of very methodically taking out enemies, as you saw in the teaser there. And then that kind of plays in the rest of the kit is using the weapons here. So going right into the right click, obviously if you're going to have two pistols out, the thing that you see across media and all across everywhere, right, is being able to engage those in a very interesting way.
Yes.
We actually kind of pushed really hard on the technical teams to be able to use it during the slide as well, which was a huge challenge in and of itself. But the right click, what it'll do is you activate it. You will then kick out behind your character and then fire 6 shots very, very quickly. And this will actually lock on to the closest target to you.
Wow.
You don't have control of exactly which target it's literally just is positional based, right? This will target deployables as well. So if there's a barrack turret, there's a Garak deployable. So the enemy can kind of react to this by doing various things by stepping behind walls or putting people in front of them. But it is lock on. So the closest target will get hit by all 6 shots. It does a total of about 1,000 damage, so it's not a lot of damage, but it's confirmed damage, so it's very easy to, when an EV's flying around very quickly or someone's kind of moving about, you're going to get some confirmed damage on there, but it's not highly lethal. And like I said, it suffers from a lot of downsides where if there's a barrack and you're shooting at him, he'll put a turret down and look at you as you shoot the turret helplessly, right? So there's a lot of counter mechanics for the enemies to look at. And you can actually activate this at almost any time, including during the slide, so you can do the action hero slide visual.
Oh, that'd be cool if we could see that maybe in the slide with the pursuit. If not, I guess the theory is there that it's possible. But the cool part about that as well is looking at, with Lawman, these magnums, Nick, this may see, okay, auto aim, right? Yeah. Can you really just run into a fight and use this and just win? Is that kind of how this is meant to be used? What's the goal with this playing?
I mean, I tried doing that like at the very start of development, and you're getting punished, right? Because it's not that much damage, and it's over a decent period. Where this does come in is it's kind of like your cleanup tool. If somebody's getting escapes from you, somebody's about to slip away, like Drybar mentioned, the big one was the Eevee, Drogos, guys that are really hard to hit that are flying around. This is the perfect tool to take them out, but it's not a great tool to open a fight with because it takes a long time and it's not a lot of DPS.
Right, so you pretty much still have to do the majority of the heavy lifting, but since he doesn't have that kind of crazy mobility like an Androxus, like an Eevee, this is more of his cleanup tool to make sure that when he gets you low, he can actually finish you and stay in the fight. Where other flankers could probably just retreat a very long distance if they don't hit that damage.
That's right.
So he's very all in, it seems like, in terms of his kit. Let's talk about his Q. Before we get into the ultimate, which I'm sure everyone's excited to see, the Q driver, you said this is kind of going to display who are the good lawmen and who are the kind of average ones. This is going to separate a lot of people.
This gives a pretty high skill ceiling for the character and a lot of very minute details that you can capitalize on. So the very basic of this is as he is the lawman and he's kind of seeking out justice and delivering that through the weapons he's been granted, he will always have a retribution target active. And so this is, the ability is called retribution. This locks in. You'll see the target by this kind of the upper bow of his insignia atop of their heads. You see it through walls. The benefit here is if you are within a very kind of short distance within the target, you will see them through walls and have permanent vision on them. So You have to be close enough to see it, right?
Sure.
So at a certain distance, that just goes away and you lose that. But the idea here is that he will be granted a kind of mission at the start and be told, you know, go seek this person out and
It's your bounty, right? Kinda, yeah.
It's more like passing judgment, right?
Okay.
He's not reaping kills. He is passing judgment on these people. But the big thing here is you will get extra credits for every single kill they are on a kill streak on, right? So at 0, you can see they have 30 credits, and the actually number there will display and kind of update dynamically. So at a very high kill streak number, we actually got to the point where some people on like 25, 30 kill streaks in playtests were worth almost 200 credits with a single kill, right?
Wow.
So it scales up very, very aggressively, and it kind of gives you that idea of, you know, when someone is doing really, really well, you can find them, flank them, and take them out, and it kind of tells you who to go for, right? And so as you see the kill streak going up, it'll be 5 credits for every kill on their kill streak, and it's a really valuable target. And then he has a bunch of legendaries and cards that give him health back on his target, give him movement speed near his target, and it's all about being highly, you know, embodying the flank role as much as possible, right? He is there to find someone and take them out, and all about that person. The kind of the details here is important. At the beginning of the match, it will randomly select a target.
Right, okay.
If someone kills you, they become your target.
So I can't just say, oh, I really think that this Eevee is really easy to flank. Let me just make it Eevee all the time.
Correct. Now, if you get a target and you really want to buy out, it's a long cooldown, but you can activate the Q, and it'll randomly select from the remaining 4 targets, but it's random.
It's
right?
still random.
You never have unless someone kills you, you never have the opportunity to specifically choose someone, but you have a chance to mulligan if you need to.
Interesting.
Tactical feeding incoming.
Yeah, exactly. Tactically feeding them. But you have to take the disadvantage to get the advantage next round. So very interesting. And again, seeing through walls, being able to kind of peek as a flanker, get the first shot. This could be a very powerful ability, and one that, admittedly, in playtest, I did not use well enough. I kind of just was... So, and kind of clarifying as well, Drybear, those credits next to that icon is the amount that if you kill this target for Retribution, you will get credits just in your credit pool, correct?
Yeah, so this is actually a total amount of credits. So like you see when there's 0 kill streaks right now, the base for kills is 30, right? So that's just across the game.
Okay.
And then as they go up in kill streak, it'll raise the amount that you get. But basically that number there right next to the icon is the amount of credits you will get if you kill that target. And as you see, as the characters go higher and higher in kill streaks during the match, that number will grow and grow and grow. So it'll tell you if you correctly get your target, you'll get that much credits for the kill.
And on the kill, you saw the UI confirms it as well. It's a bounty kill.
Got it.
Kind of comes up above it that it is a bonus kill on top of the normal credits that you get through it. So you really are encouraged to flank and take out that person.
It comes in like your
Is this 60 then in total? Is that what that ends up being for the standard?
No. So this is total. So the 30 is the base across the game. So this summarizes everything possible.
Got it.
And if we had an opportunity to show you here with a high kill streak, this, like I said, this would scale up for every kill streak they're on and get very, very high. And then as that goes longer and longer, it builds up there. But it just gives you really, you know, it's all about finding that one person and taking them out. And if you're doing this constantly, finding the right targets, because you have very limited through wall vision, if you're close enough, you can actually kind of hide and pick your fights and get in the right spot and find them alone and take them out, and then get incredible amounts of credit gain, which catches you up above other targets.
So this should be display here. See, as he's growing. See, now it's 45 credits. He's just killed one. See if he kills another here. He's got to reload. Now it's 60 credits that you're going to get for him. Now it's 75. So I think that's clearly elucidates it. The better he's doing in the match and he stays your target, the more credits you'll earn when you actually kill him.
That's right.
All right. Well, that sounds like Retribution could be a very kind of, I don't know, it's going to be a higher level skill to make sure that pays off as best as it can. But talking about the ultimate, Drybear, this is what we all want to see. It is called the Law. Why don't you walk us through what this does and, you know, how it's intended to be used in tandem, you know, with his general kit, being an all-in flanker?
So the idea here is we really wanted to have that kind of penultimate moment to be, I'm the law, right?
Sure.
I am the instrument, and now you are being judged by me, right? So the idea here is he will kick into a relatively long wind-up where he'll start aiming in a direction.
Okay.
This will target all enemy champions only in the area. And then after the delay, he'll fire he'll pass his judgment through a blast.
Okay.
And if targets are hit by it, they will take 600 damage and be slowed for 1 second.
Okay.
So not a whole lot. It's kind of just there to kind of, and that is actually the fail case, right?
Right.
So pretty weak, doesn't really do a whole lot. It's just there to kind of hit. However, there's a different condition that makes this ultimate even more powerful. If the targets hit are below a health threshold, they will be instantly vaporized and killed. And so that counts for
effect.
frontline. That counts for anyone. It's a percentage of HP, 65%. So if he passes this off and hits it, it does have a range as well, and it's based by line of sight.
Yeah.
So if you hear him say no one escapes the law, you better hide, right?
Yeah,
Because he's
exactly.
going to pass that. And so you actually, potentially could kill a whole bunch of people in one shot if they're under the health threshold.
Wow.
So obviously the counters to this is if the support on their team hears this coming, throw a big healing potion down. We had a couple playtests where Mega Potion Pip just countered it because he kept popping them up over the threshold before they got hit, right?
Yep.
But you can also kind of pepper people with good AoEs and then execute them all with the big ultimate.
Now, is there anything about the shielding that counters this as well? I mean, if a shield is up, will you be able to get hit behind the shield?
Doesn't go through shields.
Oh, wow. So a Barret can throw up a shield and basically counter that.
That's right.
So there's a lot of counterplay options.
There is.
Here's my question. Does Torvald with his personal shielding or Ruckus with a emitter still get countered?
Yes, personal shields do. So it only looks at if you can get hit by it. It only looks at your current percentage of health. So this ignores damage reduction. This ignores any personal shielding that's on. So Torvald's shield won't be counted. If you get Torvald down to 50% and then his shield gets refreshed, it will still count as 50% and he will be executed for it.
Got it.
The big thing is you have to have a deployed blocker that prevents you from being hit, or a death immunity like Fernando Ultimate, or becoming untargetable like Ghost Walk or Slither.
Ooh, maybe Fernando. Seeming with that new skin, having a
The Fernando ult does
more
very well
important,
against this, right?
yes.
So as soon as you hear that, we actually had a balance change that will help that even more when we get to that later. But it is more about kind of getting that hit there. And you actually, in practice, it takes a little kind of understanding to understand how to use it properly in match. And just walking into a room and using it, a lot of times you'll get punished for it or you won't kill anyone. But if you get the right spot and you line up perfectly and you get it, you can get a huge payoff.
Oh, yeah. This is admittedly, this is a very fun ultimate that feels like you are surpassing judgment onto anyone who has kind of messed with you or your team throughout the game. It can be a very, this was a top player for sure when we were playtesting it and a lot of fun. But with this, the new changes and balance as well, and with the shields being able to counteract it, I'm very interested to see the counterplay here. Nick, talking from an esports perspective, do you see this guy coming in and immediately kind of shaking things up, having an impact? Do you think players going to wait a little bit and use him? What do you think is going to go on?
Yeah, obviously there's always that waiting period where they got to figure him out. But one of the harder things to do, especially at the very top level, is confirm those kills, especially when there is the double frontliner and a lot of supports to heal him up. So as soon as you get that window to execute those big tanky targets on the point, I think this is going to be a very, very important ultimate.
Very, very exciting stuff. Thomas, at the end of this, you guys, I think, have been developing and creating more intricate and deeper champions through their art style as well. Are you kind of proud of this, the direction that's going? You feel that, things are just moving upwards and upwards with all these champions you guys are putting out?
Totally. We've got a number of new artists and new team members that have joined us that have obviously, helped as far as the amount of content we can put out. But the quality of content has definitely been going up, and that goes across environments, animation, characters, effects, UI, program, across the board. I think we're just kind of finding our pace, and
That's great.
Really excited for this champion. Really excited about the details and the things that go into this. You've seen some of the UI elements, for instance. It's just one that we don't really talk about as much. But the UI team did a really good job with him. And as we were talking about earlier, he's got a core. He's easy to play. You can jump in.
Yep.
You can play with him. You're shooting people. You're taking people down. The movement. It feels really, really good. But it does have. A high ceiling, and you can see a lot of the breakup of the different emblems and stuff like that will give that information to those players that want to play deeper.
All right. Well, we understand there are some connection issues. We're going to go to a quick break. We'll be right back, talk about Lawman's legendaries, and finish you up with some balance and some other cool stuff on the patch preview. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the stream. Hey, Paladins fans, welcome back here to the patch preview. We apologize for the delay in the stream, but hopefully we've got everything worked out now. We're back in the action with Lawman. We will be going straight back into game, and we'll be taking a look at his legendary options now that we've seen his kit. And for those of you who may just be joining us or couldn't see because of the previous stream settings, we will go ahead and kind of recap his abilities too, just to make sure we've covered all bases.
Sure, since it's on screen, we can cover the legendaries really quickly, and then we'll go on those abilities. So the one on the far left, since his ultimate has a pretty specific synergy with being under threshold, this is a damage option, much like other flanks and damages have, where he will do 40% more damage if they're above 65% health. The 40% on first initial glance feels like it's high, but remember, over half the time he's not getting it, right? So if you math that out as 40%, you'll get 40% of the damage 35% of the time, right? It cuts it down to the overall throughput to actually lower than most legendaries.
Right.
But the value for him is getting them under the threshold quickly, so they can kind of get that value and then lose it, but he gets other benefits because of it.
A lot of synergy in that one.
The middle one is called Discovery. This one is actually, a very competitive, team comp-minded legendary. You're giving up mobility, you're giving up damage throughput, but what you gain is something very interesting around the Retribution target. So what happens is, if you are close enough to your Retribution target and you are revealing them, you will also reveal that target to your whole team. Which is probably the most permanent or kind of, lasting reveal we have in the game now. It is specific to a random target he can't always select.
Right.
And he has to put himself in harm's way to be close enough to reveal them. But if he does that, he can actually keep eye on specific targets and help his team identify which ones to go after. The last one is called Heroism. This is kind of his just quintessential action hero damage ultimate, or damage legendary. So basically, every time he combat slides, he'll get some attack speed on the end of it, so it allows him kind of empty that clip and react with it. So as long as he is actively sliding through combat, he'll get a lot of throughput.
This is like a hype. That's a hype one, which I think some players may find really valuable because the attack speed's very noticeable after testing it, and he's also got some cool cards. We won't go into depth, but I think some cards that can maybe help him to reduce the cooldown on combats if he hits maybe some headshots or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
So
little
something there. So let's just recap his abilities if you wouldn't mind, so people joining in can kind of see what Lex, excuse me, is all about.
The Hand of Justice. So his main hand, he's got two dual-wielded, high-caliber, heavy-hitting pistols that alternate a little bit slower but pack a mean punch. His right-click, he will go into a sequenced fire that locks onto the nearest target. This will target deployables and pets, so if a barrack turret is down, he'll lock on that instead. The damage is much lower, but it's just kind of confirmed damage on high-mobility targets a little bit harder. As your target's getting away, right, you want to take them out. His F is a combat slide, so a very quick slide in a direction. He stays in first person. He can shoot while he's doing it. He can look around while he's doing it. And in normal cases, can right-click while he's doing it as well. So it just kind of allows him to be in the combat, moving while damaging, which no character can do in the game right now. In the same way. His Q is a retribution target, so he'll randomly select a target enemy team that will be his target, and then he will be able to see that target through walls if he's close enough. So it's be kind of very tight proximity, but they kind of get, once he's close enough, they can't get away from him, basically, right? And then he will get bonus credits for every kill in a kill streak that target has, scaling up infinitely as long as they have a kill streak. So he can actually get a really big bounty payoff if he kills his retribution target. And then, so he randomly selects a target. If someone kills him, that's now his new target. He's got to get vengeance on them. And then if he doesn't like the target he has, he can press Q every 30 seconds to randomly choose a new one. So it's not always the one he can choose. That'll randomly through him. And then his ultimate is called the Law. He does a long channel in front of him, building up his weapons, and then he'll release a blast that does 600 damage and applies a small slow to targets. However, if they are below 65% health, which synergizes with the legendary we mentioned earlier, he will instantly execute them, and this ignores shields and damage reduction.
You're just killing these bots, man. You're dominating.
No one escapes the law, man.
Oh, hey, look at this emote.
Oh, man.
Sob hype here. Look at this, guys. Let's see that emote one more time if we can. That was beautiful. Or if we can, doesn't matter. Either way. We also want to test his voice pack out, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, so, Lex actually has something to say about that.
Yeah.
If you do his yes, he'll agree with you.
Let's see.
Distinctive. You alright? Transcendent.
He doesn't want to say yes, apparently.
He doesn't want to say yes.
You're top notch. You're goddamn right. Remain speechless.
If you do his good luck, he'll
No
give you some good luck.
No chance.
No
Okay.
chance.
Cheers, love.
Hit us with the have fun. That's
Not
my
a
favorite.
problem.
Have fun.
I feel like some Idris Elba out here.
What a load of tosh.
I don't know about that. Don't even say that.
Distinctive.
Get him with the have fun.
Go on, have a kerfuffle.
What? What is
Okay.
a what is a
You've
kerfuffle?
never
Go on,
engaged in
have
a
a
kerfuffle
kerfuffle.
before?
I didn't engage in a kerfuffle when I was growing up. It was
This
just
is the
you know,
spam one.
Yeah.
This
Well,
is the spam one,
Lex
dude.
has many times before, and he recommends it.
Oh wow. Well, I gotta say, if Lex, you want to hang out, do you want to have a kerfuffle with me, Lex?
No chance.
Oh, that's pretty brutal.
Hey, it's St.
man.
Patrick's Day
Sorry.
though. Maybe we can hang out, grab you know something to eat later, chill.
Okay.
Grab a drink.
Yeah. Do you like?
Or two.
Goddamn right.
Okay, that's what I was hoping for. So
You're
that's
top notch.
that's that voice pack. Thanks, Lex. You're already bringing a lot of fun and energy into the realm with that voice pack,
Cancel
and a lot of lightheartedness, but a lot of law and justice here as well. That is the recap of the Lawman. But we also wanted to take a look at, we have the new skin for Fernando, the FN01, and we want to take a look at his voice pack if we can, and see some of those fun lines as well for that skin.
Maybe get some jokes in there.
Yeah. We should see him fire too. The VFX, as mentioned earlier, are just amazing.
Ooh. Well, we could see the left.
Maybe.
We could at least see the left mouse button too, the flame. That way we could see
Yeah.
there is some different
Burn 'em
firing effects
alive.
for this. All right, so we will actually come back
Should we
to
do
the desk.
a thinking, like, kind of thought experiment? Just picture, I mean, it's
Yeah,
not
yeah, no,
orange, right? It's not orange
It's
flame.
not. It's not. It's
Could
not
it be
orange.
green?
Is
Okay,
it like a
hey.
lightning cannon?
No, it's not really green.
It's not green.
No.
But it's
no.
St. Patty's Day, Thomas!
Yeah, exactly. You didn't plan
We
this
did
out.
not plan this out. So- but at least I'm wearing green.
See,
Oh,
if you guys see, we had a
got 'em.
Valentine's chest near Valentine's, and we had a Christmas chest near Christmas, and it's St. Patrick's Day. And we have a Fernando Mecha chest. What?
Does he have a recolor?
You guys not care about St. Patrick's Day?
Green
We
recolor.
do care a lot about it, but it's a really cool skin.
So the level of skin coolness definitely can supersede the holiday.
Well, I didn't want to
Yes.
hold that skin back.
That's
Like,
right.
It's
Yeah,
ready
that's
to go.
right.
It needs to be out there.
Yeah,
It
I
needs to
hear
be
you.
in the battle.
Fernando values all life. in
Fernando's
this
already got
universe.
that like winter green spearmint looking.
He does.
recolor.
He does.
That's
He does
true.
have the
He's good to
spearmint.
go, dude.
Yeah,
He doesn't
spearmint
need that.
Fernando exists.
So the weapon, is it like a lightning cannon? Because he's a robot.
Oh, well, are we going to come back and see it?
Okay,
or-
what if there's a
We
weapon?
are. We're just trying to guess.
It's a question.
Is there a
Oh,
class of skin that is like makes your weapon just different? Like Fernando could just shoot like you know.
For that weapon
Stovetop.
itself, or are you talking about the VFX out of the weapon?
Oh no, just like, you know, is there
Like-
going to be a class like past legendary, and it's like you're not even shooting a flamethrower anymore. You have like
you have
a
a
machine
potion
gun.
launcher?
Yeah, you have like a potion launcher machine gun if you want. Just all
Why
these
don't you
potions.
come over to my desk?
We can talk,
we
work
can
this
work
out?
something out. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, you're goddamn
That
right.
sounds dangerous.
Goddamn right. We could have a kerfuffle. Talk
We
about
could have a kerfuffle. I'm down.
it. You're down.
I
don't-
didn't even know what a kerfuffle was until I met Lex.
So how
He
did
showed me the way.
how did he show you that? What was that like?
I can't.
This- what's the rating of the
Not
show?
appropriate. Yeah. Okay. It's PG-13. It's T.
Okay. Yeah,
It's teen rated.
That's right.
You'll have-
Kerfuffle's just a good time, man.
It is-
It's
is
just a
it?
good time. You're
It's just
having
a
a
party?
good time. Yeah.
Lex
All
seems
right.
like a pretty straight and narrow guy
Yes.
anyway.
Yeah, he's a
Yes.
good guy. He's
Yeah.
good people.
Let's have a kerfuffle.
He's good people.
Oh, cheers, love. Here we go.
Let's do a joke.
Negative.
Oh, come on.
Wrecked.
Mission accepted. The year is after
battle
Paladin
is about to begin.
195. Operation Fireball.
Another joke, maybe? Another taunt?
Dance with me in this endless woods.
He still has the same Spanish flavor. In fact, you know we're going to
does.
Spain
My
in
armor is made
summer
of Paladin.
for DreamHack Valencia for our
There you
esports
go.
here for
Metal
Paladins.
on
It's pretty
the
exciting stuff.
Wow, look at that.
It was worth
There
the
it
wait,
is.
Thomas.
There
It
it
was
is.
worth
Damn.
the wait. Oh my God.
Actually, when the fireball comes back, let's fireball a wall real quick because it actually
Oh, yeah.
cinders into
Yeah.
it really nicely.
That wasn't with the skin. That was, I think.
R&I neat.
Yo, this is actually
Dang.
amazing.
Beat me
Now, does the
fighting
charge
like
have different effects? Does the shield look different? Can we see? Okay, so you got the little blue effects coming out from the charge. I'd love to see the immortal as well. You see on the right side the tinges of like the, you know, kind of his suit or like the transforming
shield.
kind of aspect
Shield,
of it
right,
for
yeah.
the shield. Separating into that.
I will not die.
Okay.
Not yet, my friend.
Still a blue flame coming out.
He's not Latin, so he doesn't say amigo.
It's right.
But he does have friends.
Affirmative.
Yep, he sure does.
Boy, that ultimate came out pretty quick.
It sure did.
Sure did.
I
Looked pretty big,
can
too.
Can we see that one more time?
It seemed to be pretty fair, right?
Looked
Pretty
about,
fair.
yeah. Looked about 30% bigger.
I will not die.
We'll have to
That's
consult.
almost, that
We'll have
almost
to
like
consult
right
Pretty Fair
away.
about
That's
that.
like as soon as you hit it, you're already immune.
Roland will be pleased.
Yes, he will.
He's been asking for that for a long
Let's
time.
get a taunt. Let's get a taunt in there.
Interesting.
Just lay down your weapons, and I won't
Interesting.
hurt you.
Oh, that's nice.
This is your joke
If you
time.
won't surrender, I'll kill you myself.
Okay, that's a little.
Well, those are
Yeah.
two different
That's a
approaches.
pretty. That's a pretty big jump there.
Guy.
Nobody needs to die today.
Okay, you know he's a little
Yeah.
confused.
Yeah.
Affirmative.
Yep, he sure is.
Dance with me in this endless world.
He would have that emote equipped too.
Years after Paladin 195.
All right, well, we can keep going through the jokes or the... Do we have the laugh? Did we have the laugh?
Laugh.
Oh, that's
Pretty-
good.
All right. I actually like that.
Is there a
I
couple?
like that a lot.
Some woohoos, some other.
Hooah!
Okay.
Hooah! Incredible.
What about curses?
Curse you.
Okay.
I'm the greatest.
You can't beat me fighting like that.
Ooh, I like that.
Just
Though.
lay down your weapons, and I won't hurt
He's
you.
a good guy.
Yeah, this is cool. Like
Yeah.
I feel like a superhero.
FNO1 Helios Fernando's a good guy.
Well, you know,
Yes.
this like really goes.
That
in-
rolls off the tongue.
It does. FNO1 Helios Fernando.
I just reminded of like the Twitch constantly streaming Power Rangers over the last little while, which is pretty, it's pretty funny. It's like this goes like all together. I'm getting my childhood, and I'm getting excited about superheroes again. Man, this skin is gonna be great. FN01 Fernando. This is gonna be in the new Helios chest, available in OB46 for Paladins. So make sure you get your hands on that, especially if you haven't gotten Star Slayer Ruckus, which is a legendary skin, Triggerman Buck, and of course Nightbane Cassie. Those are a few other epics in there as well. Drybear, Thomas Holt, thank you so much. We'll see a little bit of you later. Thomas, maybe on a future patch notes, but
great.
it's time now to bring out, my favorite time of the show.
Me too.
It's balance with Nick and Evan.
Pretty fair.
Pretty fair. All right, so is it inner pretty hair, inner pretty fair
I
this
kind of
week?
like pretty fair. That's the name.
So
for
the
it.
thing
I got
is-
a hat on, so I can't do the hood thing. So pretty fair.
The thing is, when we switch this,
to be fair, all of these changes are pretty fair.
they are pretty fair. Are
None
you
of
okay
these-
with our knee to crotch placement here?
Yeah,
with
just,
the
I
chairs
trust
turned.
You. This is trust. This is synergy right now.
I just can't kick. I can't react here. Okay, Nick. So we have a lot of things happening for balance.
Yes.
Obviously, Lex is coming to the realm. That's going to shake things up right away. But of course, we've gone through a lot of the champions here. Is there any particular theming, kind of anything we're looking to do here in total with the balance, or are we just kind of addressing some specific issues?
Just addressing outliers, keeping an eye on everyone's stats, where we're seeing people in competitive, where we're not seeing people in competitive, where we see the meta kind of shifting, what little kind of tweaks we can do along the way to help facilitate all that going smoothly.
Awesome. Let's do it, man. Well, let's get into number one, items. The number one item, it is an item. That is Illuminate.
Yes.
Now, Illuminate is probably the most OP item in the game, honestly. Okay, sorry. Maybe that's not true. But there were a couple adjustments that were made to both stealth champions, which are only, I think, 2 in the game right now, Skye and Shaolin. And also this item, which is basically meant to counter stealth champions. So Illuminate's now adding a modified description from percentage increase to additional range, and that increased stealth detection range is increased from 15 to 30 to 45 units instead of a percentage. Talk to me about why that change is even happening.
So basically what it was before is you would have that base, right? You would have your very small default stealth detection range. And because it was so small, Illuminate scaling based off a percentage wasn't really doing much for you. So instead what we did is just made those just flat linear units. So just the circle is going to get bigger based on those 15 units for each level of the card.
Great. All
Should
right.
feel much more impactful. You'll be able to see people coming a mile away.
Absolutely.
All
Okay.
those pesky skies.
All those pesky skies. If you don't want to deal with her, Illuminate's going to be your answer here. Androxus. Let's talk about the God Slayer as well. We've seen a little bit of the new legendary the God Slayer used in competitive. Stolzy and the Boys of Eager have been showing that one off lately. But he's seeing just a base movement speed increase from 365 to 380.
Yep, so it should feel pretty good. I mean, Lex coming in, and a lot of the other flankers, he was just at base when he was walking. He was actually one of the slowest in the game, so this should feel a little bit less sluggish for the God Slayer.
And a lot of times he's spending his time in the air, too, so I can see why that maybe wasn't something that people were calling for, but I think just looking to tune up flankers who are primarily like kind of having a tough time in this current meta, giving Androxus a little bit of love there on the base movement speed.
It does also help out his other legendaries a little bit because you won't need to rely on the mobility from Darkstalker quite as much.
Quite as much, exactly. All right, so let's talk about the stay-at-home dad here. Nothing against dads. In fact, it's my dad's birthday today. It's St. Patrick's Day, March 17th. So always one that it's hard to forget this one.
Yeah.
But speaking of the dad in the realm, it is Barrick. He loves to get set up, and he's been doing a really good job of doing that lately, in fact. So we decided to touch a few things here. His blunderbuss, tinkering, and his card, grudge, but we're not really going to go into that, have seen some adjustments. So his blunderbuss has actually seen an adjustment from the damage reduction to 600 to 500 now at base. So the base damage reduction for Barrick's blunderbuss has been adjusted. And now for the legendary Tinkerin, which if you're familiar with Barrick, his legendary offers you the opportunity to improve that blunderbuss, reduce the spread, make it a little bit more accurate from range. That now is going to increase the blunderbuss damage by 100. So essentially it seems like we're taking it off the base, putting it onto the legendary.
Yeah, this was a legendary that was already by far, I think, the least popular, the least picked up and competitive for sure. So what that does, he was doing a lot of damage. He was doing very well, not only in the top level in the esports world, but he was also doing very well for himself in casual queues and competitive queues. So this is a good way to kind of take a little bit off the top, and all of those queues help him bring him more in line, while at the same time making that legendary a little bit more appealing.
Now, before we get into anything else, that's it for Barrick today. Let's talk about Bomb King. Bomb King is one of our favorite champions. He's seen a bit of an adjustment here.
This one's look at me, buddy.
So I want Nick. Let's see, which camera is it?
This one's for you. Bomb King is getting lag compensation. So it was a character he's very hard to play already, especially so on high ping. This is a change that we're going to release. We're going to monitor it closely, see how it impacts the King. It should make him a little bit more easier to play on high ping scenarios, especially if you're from Idaho.
Hey, man. Hopefully you're not shooting like potatoes, man. Potato aim. From Idaho, you get it? It's a potato
I got
thing.
you, bro.
All right, anyways.
It's also St. Patrick's Day.
Also St. Patrick's Day. Yes, dude, I'm just
Dang.
rolling right now. Speaking of rolling, Cassie. Dodge roll.
Okay, so this is
Hold on, let me tell you what it is. Just jump in this.
I already know.
We got a whole system, man. Jeez. All right, so dodge roll is reduced from 6 seconds to 5 seconds.
Yeah, so what this is going to do, at least for me when I play Cassie, I like my dodge roll to always be there. Most of you run Incitement 4. If not, you should be. And what this is going to do, normally you have to pick up Chronos to get those rules to be smooth because the base cooldown is 6. Incitement's going to take it to 2, and that's going to leave you in a little bit of a dead spot. So taking this down, you'll be able to smooth out your roll cooldowns, hopefully have it whenever you need it without having to pick up Chronos. This is going to help Cassie, I think, in the early game because I always go Chronos first on Cassie. Now, this won't be the case. You won't really have to go after that unless you're running like a Disengage or a Blast Shot build. Now you'll have space to go to Cauterize, maybe go into Wrecker as well.
All right, so Cassie getting a little bit of a base reduction there. Very good for her. Drogos is now going to see a few things adjusted to him. He's been at a very high level in Paladins for a long time and still is going to be, I'm sure, after this as well. But seeing a bit of an adjustment down for some of his base skills and his base ultimate charge. So Drogos has had his health reduced at base from 2,500 to 2,400, so 100 off of his base health. And they've reduced the ult charge rate by 10%. They've also fixed the combustible legendary counting as a hit with Fire Spit. And so kind of walk me through what those changes look like for Drogos.
Yeah, so the health one, I mean, he was already one of the hardest hitting characters in the game. He also happened to be one of the most tanky in the game, and I think this will help bring him a little bit more in line. It's been kind of a while. He didn't used to be as fast as he is right now or quite as dangerous, so that health was a little bit more warranted back then. The ult's a big one for me because, I mean, we see some good Drogos players, those Bugsies.
It's nuts.
Those Avulis, they get their Dragon Punches in sometimes like 20 to 30 seconds right after they use them. So this, he hits so hard already. He's getting massive amounts of gain from his Fire Spits, from his direct impacts. He can get one of the quickestly charged ultimates in the game, and it is so impactful, especially in this meta right now. So hopefully this will bring him down a little bit more in line with some of the other characters that don't get to crank their ultimate out 2 or 3 times around. And the final one there was the Fire Spit.
Yes.
That was actually a bug. We had to ban that this past weekend in competitive, so now it will be allowed once again. Basically what it was doing, it was giving you the masterful reset. So 4 seconds, once for the impact, and then again for the dot. So you only had to hit one target to get that reset. So now it'll be cool to see that come back into the fray.
Yeah, that will be exciting. That was a very good legendary. He has some of the better legendaries, I think, that just in terms of fans liking them and playing them as pros. But also, a lot of people don't remember, back in the day, this used to be something that we dealt with Androxus. He would charge his ultimate so fast that we actually had to reduce his base cost just because of the nature of how much damage he could output, how quickly. And so Drogo's kind of finally receiving that treatment. He was way above the curve there, just bringing him in line. He's still going to be able to charge it plenty fast. And now it's time to talk about something else that's spitting hot fire, not just Rogos, it's Fernando, or the FN01 Fernando, if you're going to grab the skin. You saw it in the actual tease that we did when we were showing off the skin in the Ultimate. Immortal. A lot of people have been asking for this one for a long time. Reduce the activation time from 0.3 seconds to 0.1 second for the ult. So that pre-fire is basically much shorter, much more reactionary.
And that's kind of the name of the game of the ult. It's a big team saver ult. You want to be able to use it exactly at that perfect moment. Reactionary, a lot of times you see King Bombs come out, Cursed Arms come out. You want to make sure that you get it out as fast as possible to save as many lives as you can.
Now, here's another one that I'm actually pretty excited about, and we may see some teams start to experiment with. Formidable. Largely a legendary that was, I mean, Fernando's kind of been out of this meta, and it has been ever since Torvald jumped in because of his ability to counter shields naturally. But the fact that, you know, we had this legendary too that a lot of people didn't pick up, which is Formidable, I like the adjustments coming to this. Basically, kind of tuning this up a little bit.
Yep.
I played with this. I can give my thoughts on it, but I want you to talk to me about it too. Increasing the health threshold from 30% to 40%, that it will start to activate that heal for you.
Correct.
And then also increasing the healing value. So not only will you get the heal sooner before you're at death's door, you'll also get more value out of the heal to actually keep you alive.
Yeah, you nailed it. So basically, a lot of times you would actually be able to be bursted down before the heal could really start to roll through and impact you. And obviously, we were getting a lot of feedback that it just wasn't feeling super impactful. So we wanted to tune it up, see if it was a numbers thing. But having it come through sooner and be more effective kind of helps Fernando just get back to where he was, what he is at his core. Just that big meat shield, the guy that's just going to stand in front of you and not budge. And he's one of the simpler tanks. He's easier to play. So his mechanics aren't super difficult. He's not a super difficult character to master. So he needs kind of those big stats to kind of warrant that sort of play.
Absolutely. So that's going to be an exciting one. I'm excited to check that out myself. I know somebody you've been excited about for a long time. I feel like I have a segue for every single... I'm really good at segues. I'm praising myself today. All right, Grok, someone you're very excited about. He has been doing very well. Let's just put that this way. He's been doing very well.
Smorks in chat.
And
my boys.
Smorks in chat, bro. Yeah. Now, really, he's seeing a little bit of a reduction because he's doing so much damage right now, and just statistically and just from how a feel looks, he's just so much damage. And we don't want to take the fun away from Maelstrom, it seems like. We do want to make sure that he's more in line with some of the other supports. So the self damage from the lightning staff, actually, the actual staff damage is 82, and now it will be reduced to 75 per tick on somebody.
Just a little slap in the wrist. Grok, you got to be a healer, man. You can't be doing all this damage. So it's not really going to change his Maelstrom Legendary, which is a big part of why he's being picked up right now. And as long as you're still hitting those lightning shots, you're still going to be getting those shock pulses cranked out fairly quickly.
Awesome. Now moving on to, this is a big one. This is a huge one right here, man. Inara. A lot of controversy, I think, around, you know, where she should be. Pros haven't picked her up in this last weekend, which is, you know, a notable thing. Sometimes we see, you know, new champions come out and be very used. Inara was not played in, you know, most of the ESLs or this weekend, so it felt that she was in need of a little bit of tuning up, right? We want to make sure that she's brought in. Right now, we're going to see a few adjustments to Inara on 3 separate places. First off, her health is getting an increase. So for you Inara mains, you're seeing her go from 4,400 to 4,500. Little boop up. Now, Earthen Guard as well, kind of the core part of her kit, where she's able to reduce basically damage reduction. She's getting a cooldown reduction here from 12 seconds on Earthen Guard to 10 seconds.
Yep, and this is a big one. This is, I think, one of the most, it's her most important cooldown for sure. And with a long cooldown, it makes it more impactful every time you use it. You have to be smarter with a long cooldown than you do for a short cooldown. So with Chronos and cards, you're going to be able to get this down a little bit easier to give you some margin for error, just get more uptime on it, period, in a fight. So whether you're using it well or not, you're going to have it up more often. But you won't have to worry. You won't have to, you know, split hairs over when you want to pop that cooldown.
And we know that you guys feel the ultimate was perfect, so we just left it as it is. So let's move on. I'm just kidding. All right, it is going to be a new increase to the actual damage. We knew there was a lot of feedback. Some people were asking for stuns. Some people were asking for damage, kind of an increased duration. what we felt was a good mix of that was to add some damage to the ultimate, because the stun is extremely impactful, right?
Sure.
It can change a fight, but what we wanted to do is make sure that when you're playing as Inara, you feel very good, and that ultimate feels like an ultimate, very, very crucial and game-changing, which it was, but I think adding the damage numbers here from 200 to 500 now, when you base hit somebody on the ult, is going to feel a lot better as an Inara player, and kind of
just
changing
for what
the tide.
that ult is, right? You're just like slow-mo, just dunking this huge spear into the battlefield, and everyone's just like, ow.
Ow.
Especially if they have Resilience 3. So we played with a couple of ideas, right? Increasing the stun duration, but that doesn't feel as good, especially because the core problem was Resilience was already being picked up because the stun was the super impactful thing about it.
Right.
The longer the stun is, the better Resilience is against it, because it's mitigating more of that downtime. So the damage here just allows the ultimate to provide something into the late game when Resilience is probably going to be hitting those higher levels.
And still, when you follow up, it's 650, 700 damage. So you're basically able to output on a single target maybe 1,200 damage onto them. If they're low in that fight, Inara can clean up one. The rest of the team, if they combo with anything, that could be a very, very powerful kind of setup
with
tool.
a lawman.
We'll see if that gets used. But for those asking for the buffs, Inara has been kind of pushed up, which I think is going to be great. Hopefully we'll see her over the weekend as well. See some pros experimenting with her and playing her in competitive. Now, Kinessa, she just had a card renamed, so nothing really changed to her.
We did it.
We did it. The card was renamed. Actually, tracking is now renamed to Calibrate. So if you played with tracking a lot, you'll notice that it's just called Calibrate. Moving on, Makoa.
Yep.
This is a change that they are looking at the ultimate. Makoa's been extremely, kind of first pick for a long time and has been doing well. He's got great CC. He's got great value from his kit in almost every single area. Yep. Even when Fernando was popular, Makoa was kind of still the second pick, right? Because he can, underneath where Barrack was, he could still provide that kind of damage and in replacement of that heavy sustain.
Sure.
So he can kind of pay off for it, right? And we felt that now the ultimate just created a bit of a situation where there's just nothing you can do about it, right?
That's
There was just no counterplay to it. So looks like Ancient Rage moving into this patch, Makoa still the same ultimate, but it will no longer grant CC immunity.
Yep. So now you have a little bit of ways you can CC him with whether it be an ultimate like a Dread Serpent, just a raw Maldamba stun, a Grumpy Bomb. It kind of, Ancient Rage was just like, I'm going to pop this and I'm going to kill anyone and there's nothing you can do about it. Especially if I've got my cooldowns up. And we've been receiving some feedback that we wanted to be a change, whether it be maybe you get less health, maybe you can't use a shell spin during it. But this one kind of felt the best way to go because it doesn't take too much away from Makoa. He still gets that 10,000 HP. He's still going to hack you down with an anchor. He's still going to be able to use all of his cooldowns. But there is counterplay to it now. It's not just like the be-all, end-all. There's nothing you can do to me now.
And in many ways, it's one of, as we've added more tanks as well, Torvald's ult doesn't have CC immunity, right? We still see that be largely effective because the ult is so effective in itself, but at least there is that moment where Shaolin can impale him into a wall and shut it down. Maldamba can get that stun off. A good Grumpy Bomb and a bad Torvald positioning can, fall victim to activating the Hyper Beam and finding out that it's not working.
It's hard to do. It's still hard. We rarely see him get shut down, so this is why I'm not super worried for Makoa going anywhere.
Yeah.
Because he's still going to be very dangerous, very lethal, and very hard to bring down.
Absolutely. So still want to run away from the Ancient Raging Turtle if he can. Speaking of animals here, we've got Maldamba and his snake friend who are going to be
Long
Johnson, as you like to call him. I don't know where that name came from, man, but you're ready with it. Is it really?
Get that reference?
I don't know if I got it.
That's from South Park.
Okay, all right, that's standard. Okay, my bad. I thought it was just a funny name you made up. Okay, so Maldamba is actually getting something called remote proximity distance increased. So he's going from 1 to 1.5 on his Mending Spirits, and maybe you could walk us through what does that mean? What's RPD, remote proximity distance, and how is that? Is that a buff?
It is a buff.
What is it? What does it do?
So I had Garrett actually explain this to me on stream. Can I borrow your pen, please?
Sure.
Here comes the demonstration. All right, so RPD is basically your margin for error, how big the Mending Spirits is when you want to shoot someone. So right now, you're shooting at them with this pen, right? And it just traces a line from me to you.
Okay.
As I'm the Maldamba, I'm just tracing the line, right? And as you get farther away, you got less margin for error. This pen, it's not as sick. So now RPD, think of it this way. Instead of a pen, it's your big finger. It's your thumb. So that trace, that cylindrical line that you're drawing from yourself to your target is a little bit bigger. They'll be able to hit those long distance Mending Spirits a little bit easier.
So maybe instead of just the pen, it's like a highlighter.
Exactly.
Right?
A Sharpie.
There you
Whatever
go.
you want to do.
There you go.
It's from 1 to 1.5.
Okay,
So
great.
50% increase on
So 50% increase, great stuff, and Maldamba should be able to pick that up. We actually saw one of the pros in this weekend running the, if I miss Mending Spirits, level 4, I get it like the cooldown back right away.
I always that's a good card, but it's like the higher level of this is, like the more I have to come to terms with the fact that I stink at this character. It's like it's a crutch. It's like it's really good.
It is.
But I'm just like I don't miss.
You know what it is? It's like, man, I need this clutch Mending
Yeah.
Spirits, and there's so much
makes-
happening.
yeah.
I missed it, but it's like game time. I need to make the decision, and then it's back right. You know, you have those clutch moments still able to be clutched out.
Those top scenarios, if you miss one, it could end the fight.
All right, so Maldamba, you saw that happen. He's doing well for himself. He's going to continue to do so with that RPD increase and hopefully bring that up in terms of being an effective healer, even at lower ranks as well. He's very high skill ceiling healer to be able to maximize his efficiency in the realm. Pip, talking about, well, not healers, actually. Pip is a flanker who is in the support class. And I don't know if we'll ever be able to get him out of that driver tournament. No, he's a support. Mega potion.
Driver has been
Mega potion.
swinging in the healing numbers, though, in the
Listen,
playtest
listen.
with Mega Potion.
It can happen. It's going to take a whole world looking at this guy differently. The memes are too strong with this one, Driver.
How dare you assume
But
his role
actually, this
in
change is really going to
2017.
help. This change, I think, is really going to help adjust some of the play style. For a while, Pip had one of the secret best cards in the game.
Low-key.
And low-key, basically, I don't know of many other cards that reduce your actual skill or any skill by 50% if you just
The
go to
max.
level 4. The max.
Yeah.
And that was Side Tanks. And I say Side Tanks 4 because it is Side Tanks 4. You always take Side Tanks 4 with Pip. Forehead, right? So at this point, they're seeing a reduction in cooldown to that specific card, going from 1, 2, 3, 4 seconds to the 0.5, 1, 1.5, 2 seconds. So now Side Tanks 4 will only get you 2 seconds of
half.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the big thing here is there is a soft cap on CDR for all the skills in the game at 50%. Side Tanks is an 8-second cooldown, and this took you to 50% with this card at the max rank. So a little bit just too front-loaded there on that card. You wouldn't want to pick up Kronos alongside it. It was giving Pip a ton of uptime with the Catalyst legendary, and allowing him to just do a lot of damage. He'll still be able to do a lot of good burst damage. It's just about taking that uptime down.
Absolutely, and with Smithereens combos with that as well, you get the ammo back when you hit people. It was just meant for Pip was always firing, always doing so much damage, and even support Pips, honestly, took that card. Like, right, a lot of support Pips actually even went into that who were trying to heal just because it was so good.
It provides good control.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, at the minimum.
So maybe see some adjustments there. That's for Pip this patch in OB46. Final one, Torvald. I know a lot of people have been seeing Torvald as the first pick in both EU and North America. He's had kind of a slow start to a very extreme kind of rise in terms of the competitive side of being very valued. And at low levels, he's done well. And we think the core of that has been the ability for him to sustain not only himself, but his teammates with that extra shield. Field Study, huge legendary for that. And he's been keeping his tanks alive, keeping his flankers alive.
Keeping everybody
alive. And he didn't have to pay much cost for it.
And giving them more damage.
So protection is actually seeing a base cooldown reduction, increase, from 7 seconds to 9 seconds now. So those bubbles going to have to be a little bit more on point.
Yep, it makes Kronos more valuable on him to start, but there is still that card to shave 2 seconds off the cooldown at base. So he won't have as much uptime. That's the name of the game here. Have to be a little bit more careful. You can't just throw him out willy-nilly.
Very, very important too. So Nick, that's going to do it, man. That's balance. Hey, happy St. Patrick's Day, man.
You want done.
You want to hang out after this?
Absolutely.
All right, we'll go.
Let's go have a kerfuffle.
Let's have a kerfuffle. Let's do it. All right. Back to the real business here. I got all my paperwork. You know what? It's time for my favorite time. I think Thomas is back. Let's talk to Thomas here. Oh my God!
It's good orange girl.
Thomas! You've changed into Alyssa yet again.
I'm good orange girl now.
Your magic never ceases to amaze me. Welcome. How are you doing?
Thank you. Doing good. Really excited for FN01 Helios.
Dang, she's got it.
Yeah.
She's
we're
ready.
I
slacking.
practiced.
She
I
got
was
it on one
practicing
try.
beforehand.
I did the first try. I said it right.
It depends
Okay.
on when you start counting, I guess.
That's right. I guess that is. Do you start counting at FN01 or FN02? Yeah.
On the third try, I got it by the first try.
It works 100% of the time, 35% of the time.
60% of the time, it works every time.
So, Alyssa, what do you got for us? How you doing?
I
And
have some questions.
Oh.
Some really good ones.
I can't believe this. Are you going to say the people's names that asked them this time, or?
Wow.
I'm going to try. It's pretty far. I'm going to try. Really throwing shade right
Okay,
now?
I am.
Okay. I can't.
X-Lao.
X-Lao.
Let's just hit you with a really easy name off
X-Lao.
the start.
John.
Zalao.
You got like
name is
9
John.
vowels in your name, bro.
Could we get more specific information on the changes you plan to make to competitive?
We are.
Did you?
We've got a lot of ideas.
Do you guys want that? Do we want that? Is that do we want that?
I don't hear anybody actually.
It's pretty silent. It's
think
pretty
it's-
silent.
yeah.
So there's a couple things going into that, right? We are looking at how the ratings are working, how the competitive system is working. We do really want, as we mentioned before, we want to put rewards into the game so you can actually get ranked rewards out of that. But there is actually a system in the game that I can open the can on right now if we really want to.
Uh-oh.
So the game actually, since there are champion ratings, there's a lot of kind of feedback coming in from champion ratings and how they're working. And there's account ratings, and there's leaderboards for both, right? Most people look at the account leaderboard to see who's the best overall, but there are actually kind of leaderboards for each champion. You can see who's the best Drogos in the world and those kind of things. So we are looking at, for ranked updates, looking at limitations for how many games you have to play before you go on the leaderboard. There's feedback out there that you can play 10 games in a row, get 10-0, and stop playing. You just kind of hang out, right? So we want to make sure that there's enough of a requirement there. We are actually adding in more, potentially adding in more kind of ways for the rating to decay. So over time, if you're not playing, you'll kind of get bumped off of that, or your rating will start kind of coming back. So it's called ranked rot, basically. It's kind of over time, it'll start to decay. And then we're all looking at the contribution of account rating versus champion rating. So right now, it's a system that we started out with. We wanted to kind of allow you to play specific characters that contributed differently to the game. So potentially if you're playing a character that you're not as good at, you stand to win more. And if you're playing a character you're really good at, you stand to lose a little bit more because you are playing your best character. So we are kind of looking at that, the whole rank system as overall, and seeing how we can improve that. So that's coming in the ranked update, along with potentially looking at a restructure for how you get into ranked and how those work. So all good things coming, but we don't have a lot of specifics just yet.
Gotcha. All right, next
I
question.
got ya.
I got ya.
Dang, you're honest.
That was good.
Mark's Alley asks, will we get more behind-the-scenes videos talking about the characters and the game development? So I can actually answer this. We're working.
Will we?
Oh damn!
Will
Yeah,
we?
Leslie just she didn't even give you some
Yes,
room,
taking
Drybear.
it over. The community team is working on a behind-the-scenes blog series, kind of to show, here's how we create a map, here's how we create a champion, but also just to showcase the talent of the dev team and like the incredible work they put into it, and kind of, their story and how they got into the industry and stuff like that. So that should be coming pretty soon. We'll have more.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Can't wait for that esports documentary. It's gonna be great.
We said all the talented.
Yeah. No, all the
Yeah, that's right.
yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Damn.
I love you guys.
Damn.
Destroyed. Put my head down.
All right, Alyssa's the host now. Welcome aboard.
Welcome to
This is the
we're
Long
back.
John Silver Show.
Flipping wrecked, man.
Hey man, I appreciate you.
Thank you, bro. I
Yeah,
appreciate
you
it.
got it, man.
Got him.
You got it.
We work hard, too.
We work hard, dang it.
God bless.
You guys finally got chairs, That's
Yeah, we shouldn't complain. You're right. We did
And
get
then we
chairs.
stood up.
We did get chairs.
moving up in the world. All right, so Mott Mode 2 asks, any plans on changing or reworking some legendary cards that are rarely used?
Yes. So people may have noticed that we were kind of working on
We just did.
positioning. Yes, we did that. Kind of like
We
a little
just did
bit. We
that.
just did a little bit on that. But the big thing too is we want to make sure that the cards have enough time to be experimented with, put in different builds, kind of have those kind of things discovered, right? So we don't changing those constantly as people are finding the hidden value and hidden power of the characters. We also want to make sure we put the characters kind of go through a couple iterations of getting them the right spot for the meta, so that you are kind of, if someone kind of came out and wasn't being used properly as a front line, we're making sure we put them in a good spot and then seeing where those legendaries sit. So we wanted a kind of good amount of time for those to be explored, and then we're kind of looking at more rounds to adjust the legendary specifically, or if some just haven't been used for a long time, getting those in a more bigger pass. But as Pretty Fair had mentioned, we are kind of still actively looking at those.
Awesome.
All right.
Awesome.
Trollican asks, are there any plans or talks with Sony or Microsoft to allow a future one-time account migration to consoles like you guys did for Smite?
Yes.
Wow.
Nice.
We're working on it.
Nice. Oh. Soul pop.
Yeah.
We got ya!
We want to, so we'll have more
Sweet.
news.
Yep.
JFlare132 asks, when will the mastery unlocks make their way into the game?
We're still working on that. The hope is soon. We actually have, like I said before, we have some pretty cool ideas on how to tweak that, right? We're not going down the kind of the precious metals route. We actually have a pretty different route that Thomas would able to talk about once we actually come to fruition there. But it's really interesting, really unique, really cool. And it's a cool way to kind of have that. And we actually are filling out almost all the slots between 1 and 25 for Champion Mastery Awards with individual rewards all along the way. So we have some really cool ideas coming along with that. Obviously, we'll have multiple sets of Mastery skins that have some pretty interesting presentations. And then we'll have new ways to customize your character, potentially titles or ways to show off during the top play screen. Different kind of ways to customize that and different options. So that's coming along.
Awesome.
If you get top play, you should be able to VGS you only during
Only
the top
you?
play.
Everyone hears you.
Yeah, and everyone hears
with
it.
no spam protection.
Exactly.
Just,
Have a kerfuffle.
Have a kerfuffle. Yeah.
All right, so
You're
Dia
goddamn
Flair
right.
asks, what is your #1 Paladin ship?
What?
Evan first.
Ship is like a
Relationship,
pairing, like OTP.
like, you know.
You do not read enough fan
What are you
fiction.
guys talking about?
Anara, Cassie,
Oh, Inara.
yeah, like
who
that
you want
ship. Like who?
together.
And we saw Lex pick up Pip.
I want together, like as
Yeah,
a
like
as a crew?
who are you personally projecting emotions to so that they get together so you can get personal gain out of that?
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh,
You know what I'm
obviously.
about?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
Geez, that's a good one, man. Oh, Nick, I don't know, man. I got to think about this.
I'm still clarifying.
So
who do I want to like get along?
You know that couple
My
that
own
you want,
personal gain.
that's not a couple that you want to be a couple.
Oh, like so matchmake.
Does this have to be
Yeah, yeah,
relationship-wise, or could this be like good buddies?
I've
like,
never
like-
heard that phrase
Ship,
that way.
ship.
Not
you
only
ship
have I
them.
never been asked that
Like you
question.
want them to be,
All right.
very intimate.
Okay, okay.
Grover and Anara.
Oh man,
By Mother's Grace?
I
Gonna
think
happen.
All right.
I think Inara and Barrick, because I see
It's gonna take a big,
Bar-
strong.
Do they?
because here's
Is it Anora and
what'd you say?
everyone?
No, it's gonna take a
No.
strong woman to handle that wood.
and you know what? And you know what? I think for a stay-at-home dad, he doesn't want to wear the pants in this situation. He wants Inara to go ahead and
He has
make
like
it happen.
he has like a carpenter's.
He needs
like,
a strong
skirt.
woman.
It's
He
like
needs
a carpenter's skirt.
Nick and I just like strong women. Or something. I
You
don't
just
know.
want Anara to be, it's like Anara just like a woman about town now. Like it's just
Apparently.
like
Listen, man.
Cassie, Barrett, Grover, whoever wants it.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm
there to
really hype
provide.
about whatever was going on with Lex and Pip. I'm gonna
I
leave it at
mean-
that. But
It's like a pet.
I'm really hype about whatever that was. I don't know why they're hanging out. I don't know why he's
All right.
saving him.
All right.
What
I don't
about
know
you?
why Pip
Who
was
do
in
you
trouble.
ship?
What did Pip do?
That's awesome.
Who was in the shadow? Was that Buck and somebody
What was
else?
going on? That's what I'm saying.
There was some danger there.
This
Somebody
is like
was bullying.
But
Lil
Lex
Pip.
fixed it. He made it all better. Personally, for me, my choice is Bomb King left bomb and Bomb King right bomb.
Oh, that's good. That's a good
Yeah,
one.
they keep eyeing each other all the time and have that kind of
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Sure,
tension from
There's
across the room,
tension
right?
there.
But they're both wallflowers. Like they don't get off the edge of the screen and kind of And Grumpy Bomb doesn't make it any
Yeah.
better because
It's a
when they
slow
get the
burn.
chance, they get the chance to come together. It's Grumpy Bomb.
he comes in and
That's
ruins
tragic.
everything.
That's
Yeah. Oh, see you
think-
later.
how I feel about it.
We.
Oh, you want?
I mean, there's a couple other ships that I'm pretty interested in as well.
Yep, like pirate ships.
No, just
Yeah.
dinner.
Hey, that's a.
Hey,
you
that's-
know
it's a
you
Friday.
can commit to that with somebody.
It's a Friday.
without the leading hand cup, you know.
We haven't even started drinking yet.
No, we haven't, bro. And it's St. Patrick's Day.
It is.
I
Yeah.
can't wait to have
Yes.
some soda.
Personally, for me, it's Tyra and her gun. I
Ooh.
think that's just a match made in heaven.
Really?
True love.
Listen, that's
Yeah.
didn't expect that from me.
Come on.
We should. Yeah.
All right.
What about Tyra and the animal she's killed? Like a past spiritual relationship where she gains
The
like
bear?
Just,
Tyra
yeah,
and Pip.
Yeah.
And then
I mean,
she skins him.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh God.
Anyways, all right. So we've got some new test
wish you
maps.
would have
Healed
listened.
me.
Thank
Oh,
you.
okay. Test maps. I love this.
Yes.
That's right. Yep.
New test map rotation. Moss Garden.
That's right.
Can't intro it like that. You gotta go.
Salt.
Salt. Moss Garden. Sunken City.
Hey, there it is, Chef. It's for you, Alan.
Oh. So we got Salt and we got Sunken City,
Yeah.
but they're different maps.
Yeah.
Sunken City Salt. Hell
different
yeah.
maps.
There it is.
Come on, man. Come on.
Alan's gonna be
So three
freaking
new
out.
test maps. Again, these are all three siege maps. So we're kind of experimenting with some brand new ideas. Actually, Salt has an elevator on it.
Oh,
Yeah,
Those are
yeah,
cool. So
that's
it's interested
fun.
in
Ooh,
elevators,
that's
right? So we're
cool.
playing around some new mechanics there. Moss Garden actually is probably one of our more cramped maps. So a lot of tight spaces, a lot of hallways, a lot of corners and stuff. It's kind of chaotic. And then on Sunken City, a lot of space actually. There's no outside edges, but there are wells you can drop people into. So Makoa hook someone and drop them down a well. There's a lot of different space and routes there. So all these maps have different experiments that we're trying on the design side to see kind of what works and what doesn't. So please check out the test queue and give us our feedback. And remember, you can multi-queue with test queue, and you get full rewards for test queue. So there's, I mean, if you like testing new maps and you don't mind it being just pure design but no kind of art or theming there, just kind of check it out and queue for it.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
All right, well, it's been a fun one. It's OB46 here in the realm. Dry Bear, when's BTS out?
Hopefully actually really soon.
Awesome.
Yeah, our goal is to try to have this out tonight.
Great.
Oh, baby.
And if it's not out tonight, either way, they're going to have a weekend event coming up this weekend, I believe. Alyssa, you could talk to us about what that is.
It's a champion weekend, so all champions are unlocked.
All right.
Can it rain?
I
Oh,
got
it's
you.
Radiant
I get
Chester.
a rain day, you mean.
Radiant.
Got him. I made her stop talking.
That's right.
Radiant chests are 30% off as well.
Yeah. All right.
So
Wait,
there we go.
how
Through
much
Sunday.
off?
30%.
30% off,
Yeah.
and all
30.
champions are unlocked.
Woo.
30. The dirty
30%.
Nice.
All right.
All through
Dirty.
That's
Sunday.
pretty sweet.
30%.
That's pretty sweet.
Champion Weekend, March 17th
That's
to
right.
19th. Of course, BTS coming out. Hopefully tonight, says Dry Bear, and you can definitely follow his Twitter and yell at him if it is not out. And of course, as always, from all of us here at High Res Studios, we want to wish you all a happy St. Patrick's Day. A happy Friday. It's time for us to get out of here. And as always, remember to never give up, never stop gaming. And we'll see y'all in the realm. Have a kerfuffle.
You're goddamn right.
What a way to go. This is